This lesson we're going to talk about modeling with linear function. The first example is asking the car renter agent charge $250 per week plus 10 cents per mile to rent a car. First, we need to create functions using function notations and variable x. Then they wanted to know how many miles do you drive during the week if the weekly cost to rent the car was $260. So let's try to answer trying to find the function first. The car rent agent charged $250. So that's the flat rate. So it will be $250, and then plus, so you're going to add 10 cents per mile. 10 cents per mile means that you're going to multiply by mile, and they want you to use x for mile. So it will be 0.10 times x. So each mile is going to be 10 cents more. So we use the multiplications, and they wanted to use the function notations of f of x. So this is going to be the equation for the given problems. Now, part B is asking how many miles. So question is how many miles. Order to make this amount 260. So we're going to replace that. So we will have 260 equals 250 plus 0.10 times x, and we're trying to figure out x. So first thing we wanted to do is subtracting both sides by 250, which will just give you $10, and then divide that by 0.1. So when you multiply that dividing that by 0.1, your x value should be equals to 100. So this is going to be 100 miles. So after 100 mile driving, the cost will be $260. The second problem is asking, in 2019, there were approximately 740.4 thousand electricians in the large country, with demand for electrician expected to increase by 6.18 thousands each year. Again, the first part is asking to build the equation using these variables. And the second part is asking to find out after how long later your expectations of electrician will become 800,000 from 740.4 thousand. Don't forget, this unit is on the thousands. So let's build equations. It's starting with 740.4 thousand. So that's the initial amount. And linear equations, you're going to add your rate change is going to be 6.18 thousand each year. So it will be 6.18 times year. They wanted to use x. And that will be your function d of x. They want you to use the function d. So this is the equation for the given problems. The part B is asking when this amount is going to become 800,000. So if we wanted to change this without the thousand wording, so you should be able to do any algebra. it will become 800,000, right? Equals to 740.4 thousands. So let's just change it so we don't have to write the word in thousands. It will become 740,400 plus 6.18 becomes 6,180, right? And we wanted to know how long after these amounts will become 800,000. So the year is what we're looking for. Again, we will do subtraction first to isolate x. So that will give me around 59,600. And you have 6,180 times x. In order to isolate x, you will divide both sides by 6,180. Since I don't have space, I will write it on the side. So your x amounts will become about 9.6, right? This is a year, so when you round off, and they say approximately, so it will give you around 10, right? So when you're adding 10 years to the starting year, which was 2019 plus 10, it will become 2029. So the year 2029, the number of the electrician will become around 800,000. So let's put year 2029. So the third example, they're talking about bus fare in a city is $2. People who use the bus have the options of purchase monthly discounts pass for $24. So I guess this is each fare they will pay $2. This is discounts for no matter how many times they're going to use. You will just pay $24 upfront. With the discounts passed, the fare is reduced to, it's not flat rate, but reduced to 50 cents. Using these informations, complete parts through A through C. So part A is asking to build equation for the discount ones, right? And part B is in next page, but you need to build equation for the first case. And then I guess part C is going to ask for when those two times is going to be equals to. So let me answer the A here and then go into the next page. So if we wanted to build the equations for the discount, the first case, right? The first case is going to be $2 each. So it will be 2 times how many times you're going to ride the bus. So that will be the equations. And B is asking for discount equations. So, and they want you to use the G of X. So discounts, they pay upfront $24 plus discount one, you will just get charged 50 cents will be 0.5 for each time, so will be times X. So this is how you're going to build each case equations. And then the C is asking when does this is going to be equals to each other. Why are we trying to figure this out? So if you know if you're going to write more than this many times, it will be better off to purchase the discounts. If you're not driving or writing the systems this many times, then you're better off with the first choice, right? So first, let's see when these two equations will be equals to each other. So you're going to use the equal sign and then see what x is going to be. I wanted to put all the value with the x one side, so I will subtract 0.5 5x from the both side. I will get 1.5x equals to 24. Let's divide both sides by 1.5, where x should be around 16. So in other words, if you write transportations more than 16 times per month, then you will be better off purchasing the discount. But if you write less than 16 times, you just pay the regular payment, $2 for each ride, right? The last example we have it here is the very similar problem as example 3. So if you understood example 3, maybe you can pause this video and try out example 4 for yourself and see if you end up getting the same thing. Okay, so example 4. So it looks like you have two options, right? Two options at the discount warehouse. Option A offers the membership for $125 yearly, and then you pay 30% off discounts of the merchandise price. Plan B is you're going to pay less, $15 less, so it will be $110, but you will only get 40% off from the merchandise price, the price of the merchandise. So then, what will be the better options? What I will do is just answer the first question. We're building the equation for the plan A, and then B, let's build the equation for plan B, and then I will compare and see which is the better options, right? So let's write A. They want you to use the function f, or is it? I don't know. Let's use the f of x, and the initial amount will be 125, and plus 30%. When you're writing percent into the equation, you always need to change it to decimal, so this will give you 0.3. So 30%, change it to decimal. You're moving decimal place to space to the left. Why are you doing it? Because you're dividing by 100, right? So that becomes your decimal 0.3. Once you change percent to decimal, you multiply it to the amount. And that's going to be the equations for the plan A. Plan B, let's use the g of x. And initial amount upfront is going to be 110 on the plan B. And you get discounts 0.4 times x. Why is it 0.4? Because it was 40%. So 40% is equals to 0.4. Because you're dividing by 100, 2 zeros. Now C, they wanted to compare, right? So when you're comparing, you're going to let them equal to and see what's the better options. When you're solving equation with one variable, but they're in two different cases, you put it all to one side, and I wanted to make it positive x, so I will subtract 0.3x from both sides. I will have x on the right side, but it will be positive, right? So it will be 0.1x. That means I will subtract 110 from both sides. So I will have number without the variable on the left side. That will be 15. And when we're dividing this by 0.1 to isolate x, we will get around 150. So 150 means, what does that mean? This is going to be answer of the first part of C. So it say how many dollars are merchandise will you have to purchase in the year to pay the same amounts under both plans. So you need to pay $150 in both plans to be equals to each other. And then part 2 is asking what will be the total yearly amounts paid to the warehouse for each plan. So in this case, right? So what we will do is we're going to replace that $150 in one of the equations. And let's put it in f of x. So it will be 125 plus 0.3 times the amount was $150. So what will be 30% of 150? Well, that's going to be 45. So if you purchase $150 per that year, the spending on each plan is going to be $170. And you don't really need to plug into g of x to figure that out, because remember this amount was equals to each other. So if you replace it into the g of x, which is going to be 110 plus 0.4 times 150, you will get the same amount. With this video, I hope you'll be able to do the homework assignments now.